It is going to be a little bit challenging with the unprotected swell out there.
I'm actually kind of getting nervous. Almost have too much sail. Ooh, there's some big whitecaps out there.
Oh my god.
All right, pulling into Hog Island. Ah, touchdown!
Take it off. Sleeping in the doghouse tonight.
I'm always sleeping in the doghouse.
This is Joel. Together with Tony and Jared, he gave up everything to buy a sailboat and go on the adventure of a lifetime. But after a death-defying sail to Cuba, he found himself alone.
Wish me luck on this adventure.
When Michael finished school, I asked her to sail with me and she agreed. Together, we explored the Bahamas, rescued a dismasted boat, sailed through a tropical storm, battled parasites and fiberglass for a year in the boatyard, adopted an orphan puppy, survived a hurricane, sailed across the Caribbean Sea, and fell madly in love.
Bums on a Boat is about having the courage to go for it, to make mistakes and commit to a dream. Subscribe and join us each week as we improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Whoever tied this, they went with the, if you don't know how to tie a knot, tie a lot.
I'm pretty sure that was you, babe.
No, couldn't have been me.
So pretty much if you're like a normal cruiser checking the weather before you head out to go for a sail or move the boat, you'd look at the weather today and you'd be like, you know, maybe not the most optimal day, especially when you look at the weather for tomorrow and the next day where it calms down a little bit. But we're trying to do something a little bit different. We're going out there to challenge ourselves to sail all the way to Hog Island, which is actually upwind from where we are here in Prickly Bay. It's not a massive journey, but it is going to be a little bit challenging with the unprotected swell out there, gusting up to 30 knots today. Joel is preparing the dinghy to get onto the deck of the boat.
A few of you viewers mentioned during our last sail, you let us know that our luff kringle reefing point did not look proper. What I did was I had a bowline tied into the kringle and then it just ran through the boom into the front. And Herbie from Rigging Doctor has a YouTube channel. He's a good friend of ours. He actually messaged me and confirmed what a lot of you were saying, that you need to have 2 to 1. In other words, you need to run it through the kringle. Don't tie a knot to the kringle, but run it through the kringle and then secure it to the boom aft of where the kringle is. So that way, when I tighten it down, supposedly it's gonna pull it back and it's gonna pull the main down. This was already on the boom here, so that'll allow the line to not slide forward. So we're gonna test this out and see how it works. Herbie, if you're watching, what do you think? Is this gonna play? I think this is what you were talking about.
We'll find out. Watching Joel come back just covered in muck is making me remember the days where I used to pull the anchor, and I love doing it, but kind of glad it wasn't me up there today.
I'm never gonna pull the anchor again without gloves, guys. It doesn't have to be that hard. I mean, when it's slipping in your hands, it's like slimy. Oh, we're just sailing on the main right now, and we're doing this for knots, and we're heeled pretty hard. A reef main. I'm actually kind of getting nervous to try to do our plan. I'm thinking closer. Let's go right here. Oh, I'm amped up, guys. Holy me too. I think we almost have too much sail. Let the sail to me. Let the bait out a little.
this, it was coming down to Parachute from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Yo! Are you
The last time we sailed here, the autopilot wasn't quite holding course. Oh, maybe it's not holding course. Let me watch it some more. I'll explain to you what I did once we get to where we're going, so I can really be clear. It definitely seems to be holding right now, and this is under sail power alone, which is when the autopilot seems to have the hardest time with waves and wind. But it's holding course. Ooh, there's some big whitecaps out there.
Oh my god.
Yikes. Oh, that's the reef.
That's the
yeah,
reef
yeah. So, all right, it's about time to tack. Here you go. Come on, baby. Cross over. We got a little distracted there. All right, we got it. Find my line. Find my line. Coming about.
I feel good. We're stable. We're not dipping the tow rail or anything. You can always release the sheets if you need to. How's that? Ride all the way in.
No.
Oh?
Oh no.
Okay.
Not unless we go through some reefs and stuff. That's,
Okay, well let's not
that's
get
not the way it navigated us. We could do it, but we're gonna have to go out and around. In fact, we're getting close to another tack here.
Okay. You got anything you want to say to the viewers, Lola? How you doing today? You look pretty comfy in your little spot back here. We must be getting close. Joel just had me start the engine and said, prepare to furl in the head sail. So how much further do we have?
1.3 miles. But this is gonna be basically going through a lot of reefs. We're gonna sail as long as we can, as long as I feel comfortable. But there's just so much on this little map right now. This is our first time pulling in here. So
You're not trying to tack between coral heads?
not trying to tack between coral heads. All right, pulling into Hog Island. How we looking?
Good. At this point, we're just scoping out to find our spot, looking for a hole among all these boats. It's pretty packed in here. It's a popular spot, eh?
All right, are you guys seeing any gaps? Because I am not. But I am seeing an awesome beach with the beach bar. circled the entire harbor. There was really no spots. We think we found one, so this will be our first attempt and see where we end up.
A new place, a new home for a while. Let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back. Take my time, just enjoy the ride.
Looks like I'm gonna get to practice pulling the anchor up with some gloves on pretty quick. Main reason why we came here was to see some old friends. It's been a few years. Stefan and Catherine are on the other side of Hog Island in Clark's Court is the name of the harbor they're in.
Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself.
We are rounding the corner, now heading into Clark's Court. Just a nice little out and around. It's kind of like what kind of play would that be in football? Cut left hard, and then you cut right back towards the quarterback, then you turn, touchdown! So, Lola is doing so good on this trip. It's unbelievable. Later. Have fun out there in the,
Hopefully going downwind.
yeah, I'm sure they're going downwind. What's cool about this, I'm pretty sure when we leave here, we're gonna go downwind. There's a few other places yonder ways. I don't think we're gonna go that way.
Ooh! Babe, I think we're sailing on the stack pack.
Let's go, stack pack! So we basically did all that just to get on the other side of this bridge here. So where we were was right there, just where we anchored. We went out and around to get on this side of the bridge so we can have access to a lot more over here. Plus more room to anchor. Right about here, I think is gonna work. There's a nice looking gap. We're gonna try to drop here and then drift back to about where we're at right now. You want me to drop it? What do you think, Lola? What do you think about this new spot, huh? It's not bad, huh? Once we set the anchor, Michael just backs it down. I get my point, she gets her point back there. She brings it up to like 2,300 RPMs, really rips it just to make sure the anchor is set. Looks good to me.
Shake it off. All right, should I kill it?
What are you shaking off?
Oh, just, you know, the nerves out there. I feel really good now that it's over, but man, I was a little crazy. Am I right? Am I right?
Nice job, Volvo. Who are these crazy neighbors, Lola? It's okay. It's okay. Catherine, Stefan.
Nice to meet you, everybody. All the fans, all the cool fans.
All right, now that we're anchored, we're settled, we've caught up with Stefan and Catherine, we've made plans to hang out with them later tonight. And so now it's time to eat, and Joel is gonna work on the carburetor to get our outboard, hopefully, up and operational, optimally operational, because it is working, but it's just not working exactly like it should be.
Can I get a couple paper towels?
You got it.
Let's make it a lot of paper towels. Let's go straight Thomas on this carburetor.
All right.
Why don't we just do the whole roll? No, I'm just joking. I don't need the whole roll. We were mentored by a diesel mechanic, Thomas, in Luperon. He helped us rebuild the whole top end of our engine when we pretty much screwed it up by dumping a bunch of dirt and hair and everything else right into the heart of the engine. Yikes. But he helped us get it all squared away, and I think one of the biggest takeaways for Michael and I was how many paper towels he used. And when he would come to the boat, he would expect a whole roll of paper towels. A couple times he came over and we didn't have paper towels for him. He was not happy. So we learned, Thomas is coming to help, give him like 10 rolls of paper towels. We would just load him up with paper towels and he would use them.
You got the carburetor there?
Well, your brake germs are shot and you're gonna need a new transmission. Who else feels like that when they go to a mechanic? You guys ever see The Mask? I know you guys have to have seen The Mask. Don't tell me that joke went right over your head. The Mask is a movie, motion picture with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is an actor. He's a Canadian actor, but he moved to America, and he's hilarious. You guys need to Google Jim Carrey if you haven't heard of him. He's my favorite comedian.
Is he your idol?
If I had an idol, it would be Jim Carrey. Definitely when I grew up, Jim Carrey helped me through a lot of sad and weird times, I guess, where just he would bring a smile to my face. What a gift that is, to be able to make someone smile, to be able to make someone laugh. And Jim Carrey, Jimbo Slice, he does that. I don't know, we got on a tangent. Don't get me started on Jim Carrey, man. I'm gonna start crying. I have his book down there. Have you guys read his book? He just wrote a book.
Alright, you're acting now. Stop it. Hey! Did you just leak all over my cushion?
Yes.
Babe! Sleeping in the doghouse tonight.
I'm always sleeping in the doghouse.
Oh, stop it. I am making a Greek salad. We've been inspired by our friend Joyce. Joyce, if you're watching this, you know...
Radio check, 6-8.
Better give him a radio check.
Radio check, loud and clear at Hog Island.
Ah,
Thank you.
too slow on the draw. All right. Greek salads. Joyce, if you're watching this, you know how much we love your Greek salads. You've totally inspired us. It's all we've been eating lately. Well, not all we've been eating, but it's a big factor in our diet. So I've already chopped up my onions here. Normally you'd use a red onion, but I had a sweet onion today. So we've got onions, we've got tomatoes. You're gonna use cucumber and a pepper. Tomatoes. That's it. The magic is in the dressing and in the cheese, and that's yet to come. You want each to be a similar size so that you get all the flavors in one bite. All right, now for the magic. You've got your extra virgin olive oil, you've got vinegar, you've got garlic salt, and this little honey right here is what I recommend. A block of feta. Joyce makes hers a little differently. Instead of using vinegar, she does fresh squeezed lemon juice. She also adds some iceberg lettuce, some avocado, and that makes it really nice too. So highly recommend trying it out. Greek salad, my way or Joyce's way. Just look at that goodness. Oh, yum. Here we go. Oh, Mr. Mechanic.
Yes. Oh. Stay there. Wow, we got the real feta.
Yeah,
Feels like we're in Greece again.
freaking block of feta.
Oh,
How's that?
Joyce would be proud. All right, I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
We're not going to take you with us to go reconnect with Stefan and Catherine, but we have an invite. So it's been a long day, and we've earned a little bit of a hangout sesh.
Little sundowner
yeah,
sesh.
I might crack a brewski and celebrate.
Yeah.
Meeting our friends Stefan and Catherine and see what they've been up to. And
Got a lot to catch up on.
yeah,
Cheers.
hope you enjoyed. So the autopilot, I didn't tell you what I had done. So I adjusted the gain and the sensitivity from 1 to 3, which is like minimum to maximum, and that seemed to do the trick. So earlier our autopilot wasn't holding course. When it would get knocked off by a wave, it would just go that direction, and I'm like, oh, it's not going back. So thanks to Gary, our sailing mentor and friend, he was like, did you try the gain and sensitivity? Hey, that seemed to work.
Cool. But the autopilot didn't work.
But then the
on the way
sensor
here.
arm popped off. We hit a wave, and I noticed the rudder went red all the way to the port. But that's something I'm gonna fix once and for all. The sensor arm, the way it hooks to the quadrant, is not super secure, so I'm not surprised that it popped out. And I knew immediately when the rudder just read all the way to port that the sensor arm popped off the quadrant.
Yeah.
So then we ended up steering again. So another failed attempt at using the autopilot.
Gosh.
But it was working better until the sensor arm popped off, and that's an easy enough fix. At least I think that's what happened.
Yeah. At least it was working for us a little bit.
So we sailed, we tacked, we had a great time. We met
Tacked
our
asses
friends.
off.
We can't wait to check out Hog Island. Looks like a nice social island.
Yeah, kind of Looper-on vibes from the murky water and like the close-knit community. There's a sailor's flea market tomorrow on the beach at Hog Island, so we're gonna check that out. And yeah, we're here in Clarksport Bay, which is another awesome anchorage here on the southern end of Grenada. Excited to take you with us to check this place out.
And the carburetor cleaning, it seemed the outboard seems to be running better, but it still doesn't seem to be getting up to top speed. So new spark plug, clean the carburetor. It's still not quite. It sounds good. It's starting up. It's running okay, but I feel like it used to go a lot faster. So if you guys have any ideas, drop them in the comments. We just don't have full power for some reason.
How can we hot rod our Johnny? Let us know.
On that, we'll end this episode. We hope that you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new.
Be sure to hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and join us next week.
Yes, on Bums on a Boat.
Bye.
These are the tales
You better let Joyce.
of BOAB.
Yeah, let Joyce do it.
Oh, okay.
These are the tales of BOAB.
Boat on a boat.